They worship Lakshmi for wealth. But nobody talks about the moment Lakshmi left a king, because of one act of arrogance so small it looked harmless. It happened in a palace where floors shone like mirrors and doors were carved with gold. The king had everything: grain, jewels, armies, poets who praised him like he was a god. And then a sage arrived. Not with a demand, not with a threat, just with dust on his feet and a calm gaze. The king was in the middle of a grand assembly, ministers on both sides, courtiers watching every breath. The sage asked for a seat, a simple request. But the king's pride tasted an opportunity. In front of everyone, he decided to teach the old man his place. He pointed to the floor. "Sit there," he said. The hall laughed softly, the way people laugh when power bullies holiness and calls it humor. The sage didn't argue. He sat. And then he asked for water to wash his feet. The king's smile sharpened. "My servants are busy," he said, as if denying water to a guest was a royal sport. That's the taboo. Not a murder, not a war, just disrespect. The kind elders' excuse, the kind society normalizes. The sage looked at the king and spoke one sentence like a nail into wood. "Where there is disrespect for Dharma, Lakshmi does not stay." The king scoffed. Then the impossible spectacle began. The lamps in the hall started to dim, though there was no wind. Jewels lost their shine as if a shadow passed over them. And then, right in front of the assembly, gold began to turn dull, like it was aging 1,000 years in a breath. Coins on trays became tarnished discs, necklaces cracked. Even the palace pillars seemed to lose their glow. It was as if an invisible river of prosperity was flowing out of the walls. And in the center of the hall, for one terrifying moment, the courtiers saw her. Lakshmi. Not as a statue, not as a painting, as a radiant presence stepping backward, leaving. And the most visually impossible detail, an ocean of golden coins appeared to pour from the hem of her sari, not into the palace, but away from it, streaming out like a flood running in reverse. People screamed, trying to catch wealth with their hands, as if you can hold blessing by force. The king stood frozen, because now his humiliation was public. The same crowd that laughed at the sage was watching their comfort evaporate. He fell at the sage's feet, suddenly thirsty for the very water he refused. "Stop this," he begged. "Bring her back." The sage's voice stayed calm, almost sad. "I didn't send her away. You did. When you mocked a guest, you mocked the very principle that sustains your throne." The king's eyes searched the hall, at the dark lamps, the dull gold, the frightened ministers. He realized the brutal truth. Lakshmi is not bribed by temples alone. She lives where honor lives. He washed the sage's feet with his own hands. He offered his own seat. He bowed until his forehead touched the floor he once used to insult. And slowly, the lamps brightened, not because the king regained control, because he surrendered it. The reveal is sharp. Prosperity isn't just earned, it is hosted. And the day Lakshmi walked out, the palace learned what poverty really is. Not empty pockets, but empty respect.